Howdy folks, welcome back to another part of the Turbo 350 rebuild here. And we got our valve body here, and this is going to be a little better video because I felt like the previous video of taking these valves out on the side here wasn't really that good. So I'm going to do a little bit better video on this, on how you disassemble this. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over and we are going to disassemble this. And this is a stock valve body, and one way you can tell is if you look all over it, none of the passages or the fluid goes through these channels here, or the passages. None of them have been modified. It's all good and flat. And the other thing I can tell too is when I took the accumulator out, there's a spring behind it. Some people, to firm up the shift a little bit, they'll take that spring out and put the accumulator back on. But I wanted to make a little better video here of how you disassemble this. So we're going to start with this valve body here. We're going to start with this very first valve. And what you want to do is you want to take these valves here, and you want to take and put something under it. Let me get something to put under here. Alright, so we're going to disassemble our valve body here. And we're going to take all our valves out. We have 5 of them. We have one right here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. So what you want to do is we're going to start on this one, on this last one here, on this section right here. What you want to do is just push in and out a couple times. And there's a little needle in there. If you look at it, that needle is starting to come out right down in here. You see that right there. So what you want to do is wiggle that. If you come out, it's out. Now it's got spring tension behind it, so you just ease it out. There's the valve. Set this to the side. There's another valve. Small one. There's actual housing for them. Set that aside. And now we got the last one here, which it was spring. And behind that we have the final valve. It's right here. So we're going to put all these back in order. And one thing I want to point out on this valve body here real quick is all these holes where all these bolts thread in this, all these bolts are the same length. So when you bolt this valve body back down to the case, you don't have to worry about that. All these bolts that go in all these holes all the way around it are all the same length. And I've noticed that a lot of people, when they're putting these valve bodies on, they don't mention nothing about that. So that's a little tip there. Don't worry about that. All the bolts are the same length when you bolt this back down to the case. So let's put this back in order here. And this is the valve. It came out of this first hole right here. Okay, so this valve is just like that. And then it has a spring, a small end. Notice the spring has a small end on this end and a big end on this end. And what you want to do is you want to put the big end facing out, just like that. The small end goes on this valve, just like so. And what you want to check for is you want to take your valve with nothing else, install it, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn this valve body up, and we'll shake it a little bit. It's all the way at the bottom here. And I'm going to take my finger here, hold over this hole so this valve doesn't drop out, and we're going to turn it. And hopefully y'all can hear that. This valve is moving freely. You want to check all the valves. That's really important. They got to move. If they won't move, it won't shift right. It's really important there. I'm going to lay all this back in order. Just the way it came out. Now this valve right here is a little bit tricky. This is a small one and it goes in here in this casing first. What you want to do is drop it in there and get it lined up, and then you can take your finger and just kind of push it and just kind of turn it a little bit. Same time as you're pushing it, and it will drop all the way down in there. And when it does, you take your other valve, and keep in mind they only install one way. You can't turn this like that, so it won't go in there. That's because this is machined smaller, and there's no way you can put it in backwards there. And you want to check, make sure when you turn it up here that your valve moves. See, mine's a little bit stuck here. It's got to be able to move. Let's move on up now. We'll put all these in order. How they install. So there's the first one. And I will show you how all this goes back in order. So we'll do the second one the same way. Turn it over. Push it in and out. Just like that. See, it's about ready to come out. Alright, it came out. And the valve. We'll set that there. There's a spring. Some shift kits change the springs up that have a little more tension to give you a more firm shift. So you might want to keep that in mind in if your valve body's ever had anything done to it. There's our next valve. Lay all this out in order. Let's get our next one. We'll do this one right here. That came out easy. Hopefully y'all can see this. Don't worry about these valves. There's no way that you can take and mix them up. Because if you look, if I try and put it in this hole, it'll go in, but it's too long. So don't worry about that. There's really no way you can mix them up. So don't worry about that. Alright, so here's the next one. Put all that back in order. Same way. You want to make sure these move freely. This one moves. Pushing on it, moves freely. Just that side, it's got a little spring. Got a hole. Notice this end has a hole, the other end doesn't. Moving on along, let's get our other one. That came out easy. That. spring, valve, keep this all in order. This came out to help y'all out a little bit. That way, make it a little bit easier on y'all. Alright, so I gotta get on this other one right here. We'll have to get some pliers to get that needle out. So let me go do that. We'll get that out. Alright, on this other valve, this one's a little tricky. This one right here is the one that's got a spring behind this needle right here, which is this. So this one's a little tricky. What you got to do, you got to be careful when you're sliding this one out with a pair of pliers. You want to be careful not let that spring shoot out. So you want to be kind of careful about that. So we're going to take and get this one out easily. This one could be a little difficult, but it's not too bad. Do this so y'all can see it. Y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to hold the spring back a little bit. If you push the spring back, then you can pull that little holder out. Here we go, got it out. There's that in. The spring and our valve. And there we go. So we got all our valves out. We got this one. Got all these 4 in the middle. It's actually 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm gonna get a good shot of that. And the only thing we got left now is the kick down. That's your passing gear. And we'll take that out. That is a 7/16 bolt right here. So we will take that out, and I've already loosened it up here. Get our final valve out. A little bit of tension on it. I hope y'all can see that. I apologize for the view. There is a 7/16 bolt. You can take that little clip out. There's a clip right here you can take out, but you can still get that bolt out without doing that. You don't have to take this clip out. There's a 16th bolt right here. Set that down. We got the spring. Our actual valve. I want to show y'all how all this goes in order. Alright, so I want to show y'all all of that on how it disassembles. It's everything in order of how it reassembles. So if y'all wanted to pause that, y'all could do that. That's how all the valves install. Try and help y'all out a little bit, make it a little bit easier. This one has a little more holes on it. It's the longest. If you compare it. That one has a little longer valve. Then we got a spring, valve, and then we got the housing and the holder. A valve, another valve, then a spring. Then we have another valve housing. We have the holder, another valve, spring, valve. There's another little tiny spring there. There's another valve housing. There's a needle. Then we have another valve, spring, holder. This can install either way, this way or that way. They're the same. Then we have a valve, then we have a retainer. Now this retainer installs like that. So when you take your valve here, take your retainer. If I can do it here, it's kind of hard to do. But the way you do this, you have your valve and then have this little cup right here. Installs just like that on that valve. Then you have the spring, the holder, and that's how all that goes in order. Just to give y'all a good screenshot there if y'all want to pause that. That's how all that goes in order. That spring goes on this valve. Turn that one around. Just to help y'all out a little bit. Now